The Sevastopol, a Russian submarine, is carrying a very deadly computer gadget underwater when the movie opens. A unique key that resembles a split cross is required to access the device. The submarine's crew sees what looks to be an enemy sub nearby firing a torpedo at them. After firing their own torpedoes, they are startled to find that the other sub and their own torpedoes had vanished, seemingly out of existence. When the crew's own torpedo returns fire on the sub, it destroys it and kills every member of the crew.
Under the pretense of delivering food, a novice IMF agent pays Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, a visit and presents him his new mission log. Ethan receives the task straight from Henry Czerny's character, Eugene Kittredge, the director of the IMF, who tells him about the key and how it might be used for something disastrous. Additionally, Kittredge notes that Rebecca Ferguson's character Ilsa Faust appears to have gone rogue, has one half of the key, and has a $50 million bounty on her head. He continues by saying that Ethan's prior self, the reason he joined the IMF, is involved in the assignment. Ethan travels to Ilsa's hiding place in the Namibian desert. Before a bunch of mercenaries chase Ethan on horseback in the middle of a sandstorm, he lets her know that he is there. The merc accompany Ethan to Ilsa's hiding place, where the two engage in gunfight combat until it seems like Ilsa has been shot to death. Kittredge talks with director Denlinger, Cary Elwes, who leads a group of intelligence chiefs known as the Community. They provide information about the Entity, a computer gadget that has been involved with multiple network intrusions, including the Russian sub. It is gradually becoming self-aware and sentient. They claim that since the Entity cannot be eliminated, controlling it is their best option. As Kittredge mentions IMF, Ethan disguised as Ethan uses knockout gas to render everyone unconscious, including Kittredge, who is now wearing a mask of his own. Although Ethan is aware that Ilsa was the target of Kittredge's bounty, a flashback reveals that Ilsa is still alive and gave Ethan half of the key before escaping. Kittredge cautions Ethan that this situation he is about to find himself in is not like anything he has experienced before. Then, in order to escape the building, Ethan uses Kittredge's disguise, and he shoots Kittredge with a tranquilizer dart. Ethan meets with Luther Stickle, Ving Rhames, and Benji Dunn, Simon Pegg, to talk about the Entity and a strategy for apprehending its perpetrator. They hear of a buyer vying for the key at an Abu Dhabi airport. In the meantime, Ethan is being pursued by Jasper Briggs, Shewigam, an agent with the Community, and Degas, Greg Tarzan Navis, his partner. For their mission, the team from the IMF arrives at the airport. Ethan is able to deceive Jasper into pursuing the incorrect people by manipulating their security footage with the aid of Benji and Luther. After picking-pocketing the other important piece, Ethan follows Grace, Haley Atwell when they discover that the buyer has died, having been murdered by an enigmatic assassin known only as Paris Pom Clementif. He pursues her and makes her stay with him. They attempt to outrun Jasper and his group as Benji witnesses an enigmatic object being taken into the luggage area. Luther assists him in locating it and discovers that it is a bomb that detects when Benji is lying. It can only be deactivated by figuring out puzzles or providing personal information. Benji notices that the code should spell good luck when he is stuck on the final question and has a few seconds remaining. However, to his surprise, it was empty the entire time. Suddenly, after seeing an enigmatic man identified only as Gabriel, Isai Morales, who suddenly seems to evaporate into thin air, Ethan loses track of Grace. Ethan is then located by Jasper and Degas, who pursue him through the airport, but he escapes. Ethan informs Luther and Benji that they are ending the expedition after seeing Gabriel. Ethan follows Grace to Rome, where she is captured by law enforcement using multiple fictitious identities and passports that are sought for various theft offenses worldwide. After assuming her attorney role, Ethan finds out that Grace was employed by an unidentified third party to obtain the crucial component. Grace manages to escape Ethan while he tries to sneak away. Paris then locates the two and follows them with the authorities. Ethan and Grace are forced to locate an IMF safe car as a result of the ensuing chase across Rome, but Paris is still able to track them. Grace escapes from Ethan once more after a great deal of maneuvering. Reunited with Benji, Luther, Ilsa, and Ethan, they talk about Gabriel and the Entity. Gabriel had murdered Mariella Garriga, a close friend of Ethan's, prior to Ethan joining the IMF. They arrange for Gabriel to accompany them to a party in Venice. Grace is discovered by Gabriel at the celebration, and he takes her to Alana Mitsopoulos/White Widow Vanessa Kirby after discovering that Alana had the other crucial component and that she hired Grace to locate it. Ethan and Ilsa also locate them. Gabriel describes the Entity and how Alani understands the need for them to bring the key. The entity appears to be omniscient and is aware of multiple possible course of events. Gabriel predicts that before the key is delivered, either Ilsa or Grace will pass away. Alana is adamant about not working with the villain, even though Ethan tries to persuade her otherwise.